Good morning, this is Sifu Slim out here bright and early at the Mission in Santa Barbara. People are doing their things. Dogs are happy. Isn't that cool? Little happy dog leading his master around. And put the glasses on so I don't have to squint the whole time because the sun is powerful even though it's coming up on Christmas of 2020. So here on a nice slow morning, I've had the good fortune to have done tennis ball rolling with about 12 tennis balls, do the entire body that I can with tennis balls on a carpet that's not too thick, so something like that, or a throw rug that doesn't grate you because there's going to be movement of your skin on that. So something comfortable. And then the foam roller, which is a nice thick foam roller with the right consistency for me. What's right for you might be different. So go out and try some foam rollers and find out which one works. So the morning was slow, and there's an extreme importance in going slow. If you think of plants, they go slow. If you think of an animal with a kill, climbing up the mountain like a mountain lion with a kill going up for her kids to bring that food, she's going slow because she's got a long way to go with that heavy carcass to feed her kids, right? So slow is very important. I'm not saying to do slow all the time, but it's important to have some times that are slow and going with the flow. Now, if you think of the waves out in the ocean, like here off the coast of Santa Barbara, they come in like this and then they crash. So it's a nice ride that you get. And that's this thing I'm suggesting that the kids of my era and the modern era, I'm born in '62, and the kids in the modern era, born the last 20 years and today, are going so fast because they've got this gigantic list of things that they have to accomplish. So when I was a teacher and did PE, it was amazing to me that the kids are always in a rush. They're in a rush to get dressed. They're in a rush to get to their number, their position out on the court. They're rushed in their exercises. And they're a rush to get on the team that they're going to be on that specific day. And then playing the game almost seems like a rush. You've only got, if it's an hour class, you may only have 40-some minutes, counting the dress, the warm-up, and then the getting your equipment back, and then dressing for class again. It might even be less than 40 minutes in an hour. So it's all this rush, and I think what people are missing in the education of young people is this idea of going slow. And if you don't put so many activities on the list, you have the ability to appreciate the entire activity so much better and to excel at that activity so much better. And I would say rather than playing a little bit of tennis every day, I would rather see some 2-hour classes of tennis, which a young person can easily do. I'm 58 and I played 2 hours with lessons this winter and this summer actually in Vienna, and they were incredible. And I'm not a young person. I used to be able to play tennis pretty hardcore for 3 hours, maybe even over that sometimes in the Sacramento sun, which was pretty powerful. And I couldn't do that right now, but I did 2 hours, so that was fun. But it's amazing how much you can learn, how much you can get inside the teacher's mind, body, and spirit, and absorb from that teacher. And that's the whole idea with the mentor and the student. You have to get into their brain and receive all the learning that they've done, right? So my teacher grew up in Austria, and he's my age. He's basically the same age I am. And what he did as a young person was different than what I did. He had a mom who dropped him off at the tennis court pool in the countryside, in the mountainside of Austria, and he would spend 4 hours there. So imagine that every morning all the way through lunch, that's his 4 hours at the tennis and pool, and that would be his time to learn. And so he got very good young, and instead of having his own teacher because he didn't have the funds to have a teacher for an everyday type of class, even a group class, he and his friends watched tennis players, and they talked to tennis players, and they watched matches, and they watched lessons going on, and they used those techniques to teach each other. Pretty amazing. So I really enjoyed that whole experience this summer, and I enjoyed the free play I had as a young person and still have today of experiencing the exercise program, the fitness program, the walks, the runs, the mountain hikes, the swims in the ocean, the surfing, all done at a pace that I think is reasonable for what I'm trying to accomplish instead of always rushing. So here we are at the Mission in Santa Barbara, and the first thing that we see here is the washing station. So it's covered over right now, and but back in the day this was all open unless they needed to cover it to keep the water from evaporating, which is quite possible. That part I don't know. But because here we're in a dry area, even though we're near the ocean, it only rains about 6 to 8 days a year in Santa Barbara. So maybe they did cover it for the washing station to keep the water in there. But this is where people would go back in the time of the mission. So the Spanish people, the other settlers, and the Native Americans, the Chumash in this area, that was one of the places where they washed their clothes. Do people go crazy washing their clothes? No, it's a kind of a steady activity, and you don't run to get to the wash station with your clothes. You walk there. That's how you do it. You say hi and you talk to people along the way and while you're washing. Hallelujah. So that's what people did. And then to build this mission, it wasn't a race to get this thing done. It's you have the plans, because there are many missions up the coast of California, and they came with the technology that came from thousands of years of building such things in Spain. And they built this here, and they had to gather the stones to build this. And so you're not telling the horse to go through these mountain passes to carry these stones to get to the mission. You're not whipping these horses at a 70 degree or an 88 degree day to get them here quickly. No, you're ambling your way with these stones to get to the mission, and then you're taking the horse and watering them and keeping them happy and cool so they can go do another load when the time is right. So that's how you do things. You build things with a steady pace. You talk to people while you're doing it. It's not this rush. Now, if I had to compare the construction of this with the construction in the modern era, which I have done, I would say the construction that I've done in the modern era is often a competition. So you've got the different contractors. You have the foundation people. First you have to dig and excavate. So you have the excavating people who are all on the clock. They're looking, their boss is on them. So you're on the clock to dig. You're on the clock to build the foundation. And then you come in and you build the first part of the floor, and you put the plumbing in first. Excavate, sand, plumbing, foundation, more plumbing, and so you're building this thing up. And all those teams are often different people. And in America, it's like this competition. So the plumbers are racing to get through so that the floor guy can get in, the floor people, I should say, because they could be women. The floor people get in there. And then the electrical people, and there's this constant race to get out of the way so the other person can do their thing. And it's also competitive. So there's times where the electrician's complaining to his boss, or maybe giving you some grief as you're the plumber, and I would say it's a negative thing, the way we do construction in the modern era. And I think it was similar to that when it was a non-union and a fast-paced thing, or a union and a fast-paced thing in my father's generation, my grandfather's generation. I don't think it's right, and I think that has effect on how we raise kids, the karma of the planet, how we treat each other as humans. And I think those are all things we need to reconsider and do things more along the lines of pacing, balance, and having the mule bringing and the horse bringing those stones happy, and everybody in the job site happy and productive and cooperative. I really think that's what we need to do. And then we're not going to be fighting, or we're not going to be antagonistic, or we're not going to have anxiety as much. And that's a blessing to us all. So today my workout is going to be with grippy gloves. So I would like you to go out and get a pair of really grippy gloves. So there are two kinds that are the main kind. You've got the ThermoGuard that are the thicker ones, and they give you more cushioning and more grip. And those are the ones I use year-round. And then there's the thinner ones that are the same type of gloves, but they're a little bit thinner latex rubber, I should say. or PVC. Sometimes this is PVC. And they're the thinner variety, and those will of course not get as hot. And they still work great, but I have hands that I want to protect for my computer work and my other things. I'm not like a person that's like building up these big hands with calluses. I'd rather not. I'd rather have my hands not have arthritis as I age. So I'm always protecting my hands. And so today we're going to do decline push-ups, which will be our feet up here, our hands off of here, and then we're going to do it in a position that's functional training. So it's going to be here with each push-up. So it'll be like that. And then at the second stage it'll be like that. And so it's functional training, and we're doing this to, the idea of functional training is it holds your body together. And instead of just doing more reps and the same type of thing, it builds a technique and a physiology that's more friendly to being a human being, which means everything works. That's the idea of functional training. Function. Everything works from head to toe. Everything works, and you're building balance and control as you do these contortions. And so that's something that I encourage you to consider. And my videos online, the sifuslim.com, have functional training exercise, have calisthenics, have what I call yoga P, which is yoga mixed with Pilates, and it's kind of a martial artsy calisthenics mixed in. So take a look at some of these things and give them a try. Don't make all this analysis right off the top. Give things a try for 2 weeks or a month and see the results. Do things in a balanced way and see the results. And then maybe you'll get the blessing that I've had, which is lots of learning from other people and my own experiences, and that's been a blessing to go through life. So we're saying a big blessing at the holiday time to the mission in Santa Barbara, the mountains up on the hilltop there called the Santa Ynez Mountain Range, and the palm trees, the cross, the roses, the cactuses, the cacti, the homes in the distance, the field right here, which is part of the Mission Historical Park, the rose garden down there, which was named after a friend of mine, Mr. Postel, A.C. Postel Rose Garden, named after a friend of mine's grandfather, and the eucalyptus tree and the lower hills, etc. We're blessing all this stuff today on a Sunday, and especially walls. Walls are very good. They hold the earth together. They allow us a place to sit. They allow us a place to exercise. And if they had a post here, you could tie up your horse and take care of your horse. So I'm Sifu Slim, wishing you all the best in your health, happiness, and wellness. Please like, please subscribe, and share your comments, your respectful comments below. Aloha.